Good morning, north of 44 degrees. It is a beautiful morning. A little bit brisk, but it's supposed to warm up nicely today. Today's going to be a little bit of a fun project. I can't say I'm looking forward to it, but it's something we want to get done. The fan in the master bath is noisy. It's like a 3.5 zone fan. Some of the ceiling out. And spend a little bit of time in the attic, which will be fun. We haven't been in the attic yet, so let's tear into that one and see if we can get this thing wrapped in a day. So here we are in the master closet, and let's head up. And I was surprised to see in the attic, first thing that surprised me was, one, they've got this thing blocked up, and this is a 2x8 here, but they also put these boards here so that when they piled insulation in around this, there's a well here for the attic access. There's actually a pull chain light. There's actually all the way down the length of the house, there are these measuring sticks. And that's so when they start blowing in insulation, you know exactly how much insulation there is. We're in the attic. Here is the fan. And you see that right there. In order to add this new fan, I need an additional wire up here. Old fan is out. You can see it there. And I doubt you can see this, but we'll try. I was able to stuff the new wire down in the existing hole. One of the things you'll deal with when doing work on a modular is the need for the manufacturer to overbuild everything. And if we look here, you can see right in the crease of that where the stud meets the drywall ceiling, there's a bead of foam. Welcome to part 2. So you made it through the first 3 minutes of the video, which was all the recap from the first part. That video can be found on my channel. In the second part, we're going to launch right in with the high-speed camera again and just start installing the fan parts. The first part that went in was the frame bracket, and that had to be screwed to each of the studs. So we had to remove that bead of foam. This part is actually the electronics, the controls of the fan, and the exhaust vent. So we'll get that mounted up. We will hook the hose, the existing hose, to the outside to it, and tape that up real good so that there's no air leaks. fit that new fan in, and I went ahead and kind of screwed it up into the attic, thinking that the exhaust port or the electronics piece had to be slid down from the top. And that's not the case. The electronic piece actually can be mounted from the inside, so you don't actually have to be in the attic to mount the exhaust to the fan motor. Got it all plugged in, got that all sorted out, and am fitting the motion detector that's on the fan grate, and test fitting that fan cover. Is inside the wall here. There is another wire that's got to come down into that box. So I've got two choices. I can either cut a hole in the wall and feed the wire into the existing box, which wouldn't be a horrible idea, or I can cut that box out and put in a renovator's box, like I did in the last video with the hall light. So I'll think about it, and we'll start that next. The next step will be to remove all the existing switches and connectors, and you can see the little squares there. They have these kind of neat junction boxes that hold 4 wires. Not sure who makes them. Couldn't find them at the big box store. Did end up replacing them with Wago connectors, which gives you the ability to join 4 or 6 wires in a fairly confined space. Obviously, I decided to go with the contractor's box, so we're going to grab the multi-tool and hack the old box out of there. The key here is you don't want to damage the existing wires. If you cut that insulation, then you've compromised those wires, and now you've got to do something different. So we're going to, without a lot of grace, remove the old box and get the new renovator's box put in. I had fed a lot more cable down into the hole from the ceiling than I needed. I figured better to have too much than not enough. We only wanted to do this once, and if I could avoid going back in that attic again, I would. It was quite warm up there. So there we got the new box. We're going to feed all the wires through. There was one wire coming up from the basement. That's the power supply that went back to the breaker box, and then now there's 3 wires going up to the attic. One for the pull chain that draws power from that same circuit, and then the two wires for the new fan. I did write on each of those wires where they went. Not really necessary, but that was just so I could kind of keep track of what wires went where and how they needed to be connected. I did leave these wires a little bit long, at least for the first, for the first pass. I will come back later and cut those down, shorten them up so everything fits inside that box. One of the fun parts about adding switches is a 2-gang box gets pretty full when you're running, 4 and 5 wires into it. Moment of truth. Let's turn some lights on. So that would be the night light. We'll go up here and we can see the night light is on. We go to the big light, which is actually quite bright. And then the fan. We'll put this up here. It takes a minute for the fan to go. You can see it's spinning, but it's on a soft start. So the amp draw is much less because the motor doesn't hit all at once. And I've got this thing set on 110 CFM, and it's just about as quiet as can be. And I could turn this down to 80 if I wanted. We'll see. But you can also see here, see those switches. I can also adjust for the humidity, and it'll turn on automatically, and it will run for a given amount of time. That's what those switches are for. So let me get these. I'm going to shorten up these black wires and get everything jammed in this box. So I'll be back in a minute. Well, there you have it, folks. I will get this mess cleaned up and get on with the next project. Thanks for visiting. See you next week.